Aquarius, your horoscope for the month of July 2025 for your Aquarian sun, moon, and rising can indicate some significant good fortune when it comes to love, creativity, fertility, pregnancy, and money, as well as some unexpected developments connected to your home life, homeland, property, and home life that are positive and exciting and exhilarating as well. Look for a lot of positive energy coming through the sky for you this month with an element of the unexpected. We're going to break it down bit by bit to talk about the good and the bad, the challenging and the easy stuff for the month of July in chronological order. So get ready for that today. Our video today will be about 25 to 30 minutes long at the most. So I am an Aquarius rising like you, so I love when I get to do my own sign. I'll try to keep my own life out of it. Sometimes I tell you too much about me. But one thing I want to say, if you're new here and you're never met me before, hi, I'm Lori Lothian, Western Tropical Zodiac astrologer using the whole sign house system and the ancient timing tools of Hellenistic astrology. If you want to time your best life and learn how to do your own reading for yourself, to Sky Read, come check out my Sky Reader 6-week live course. I'm teaching it in September, October, and we're going to be in Q&As every week. We have a Facebook group for community, and you'll be learning how to read your sky and use two or three timing techniques that are simple and easy to use for even an intermediate to beginner type level of astrology knowledge. And that is so you can get some fish without me giving you the fish, teach you to fish. So that 6-time teaching the class in the description box below. It's only once a year. You'll have the link to sign up for the early bird discount wait list. So it means you'll be getting an invitation to sign up from me privately with a discount code that you won't get if you're not on the wait list. So there's that. And doors for the wait list enrollment to happen will be in August sometime. We're going to also take a look below for the description of the course, just a general description from my website so you know what you're getting into. All right, so let's get going and talk about the Aquarian sky. If you're listening for your Aquarius sun, it may be about your career and purpose, your Aquarius moon, your home and home life. Your Aquarius rising sign is you, the avatar simulation character in the game of life, like we're in a video game. And your rising sign describes your character. You'll need a birth time to find your rising sign. I do have a free video tutorial, though, on how to cast your chart in whole sign houses that allows you to even locate or find your rising sign. So you might want to grab that too. Now, as an Aquarius, as one of you, I always say, I'm one of you. We have some major backdrop story. All signs have the same backdrop story before I show you the chart. That's Jupiter spending a whole year in one sign. So for you, it's your house of health and work matters. And he's there all of July because he got here in June of last month. And he'll be in your 6th house through till next July. So backdrop story, big deal story. It's just a general base note of positive energy regarding health, work, pets, debts, rentals, abundance, prosperity, and vital health and improvements in your health as well. And with that story going on continuously in the backdrop and the North Node in your 2nd house, you can qualitatively say that most Aquariuses will improve their financial profile, earn more money, make more money, succeed to greater heights in their career. I do hope that's true. I did incorporate last year. So may we all prosper in work, career, and money making in the next 12 months. And that story isn't any less powerful. Indeed, it's quite powerful in the month of July, because from the 3rd week of June through to the 3rd week of July till July 22nd, not only is Jupiter in the 6th house, but so is the light of the sun, illuminating and intensifying, brightening up the health, the work, if you have a health problem, the sun will shine a light on it. Jupiter will find a solution. If you want to get a job, you're likely to succeed. If you want to succeed in the work you already do, you're likely to level it up to a new level of vitality and authority. So that runs through your whole sky the first 3 weeks of July. And it's really also good if you wanted to get a pet that could support that as well. Now, let me show you the sky and give you a lay of the old land, as they say. And I just did a Capricorn video. I forgot to turn my mic on. I hope that they can hear me, but there's no way I'm recording again. So here we have it. So ascendant, is it here? This is a rising sign symbol, but you could put your sun there or your moon there in Aquarius and treat it as if it's the helm of the chart. And that's how we do that astrology. When I say, listen for your sun sign, it's as if your sun is in Aquarius and it represents a 1st house position. Same with the moon. Okay, so this is not rare, but it's also because it's with a powerful star, it's different. There's a star around 26.7 degrees of Taurus called Algol, and Venus is applying to the star and to Uranus for the shock and awe. Surprise in the fourth house. When? Well, it's really hitting the mark on July 1st. So July 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, Venus, Uranus, surprise, unexpected, shock, positive. Fourth house, home, property, land, real estate. Wealth star, Algol. Now, I'll give me as an example. I'm in a hospital lottery called the Heroes Home Lottery or something like that, one of those lotteries, and it's to win a home. So even though you might go, what, prosperity, wealth, Venus, Uranus, maybe I'll win a home. So there's an example, because luck is Venus and prosperity and wealth can be Algol. Now, Venus is bonifying Algol. Algol is like decapitation, off with your heads. It can be a difficult star, but it's got the energy of a benefic planet on it to bring something positive and lucky to the table. And she's in her home kingdom, so she's super strong. So you don't have to worry so much here about something challenging as much as just something positive and surprising. It may indicate wealth, maybe unexpected pet coming into the home because of Jupiter's position here in the chart. There may be an unexpected development in your life connected to your domestic property home that's positive, surprising, and quite lovely. So I don't have any bad feelings about it. It flows to the North Node in the second house of increase of money and resources and savings or earnings. And so it can indicate a nice little jolt in your finances as well. We'll see what happens. Let me know how your life goes July 1st to the 4th. And what this positive surprise is about, powered up by the star Algol, a well star. And you'll notice that in our real-time sky, the moon will form the bottom of a kite. I'll be covering that in my week ahead video then. So it gives, particularly July 1st, and 2nd, a really intense energetic around success of some sort. And connected to the ninth house, it could also to do with government monies, to do with, legal matters, to do with courts, to do with travel, to do with academic settings. But that's just for the day of July 1st, really. They're really not important so much to look at the kite. It's so quick moving. Now, as we go forward and take a peek at the next story, why am I going by hour? I want you to notice that Venus will cross the sign boundary and she'll enter into, she'll enter into Gemini on July 4th. Happy July 4th, you American friends and clients of mine. Sorry about the war situation. I'm recording before I know what's happening. This is recording on June 18th. I don't know what's going on with the Iran, Israel, US yet. But anyway, sending you love. July 4th, Venus enters the house of joy, fun, play, creativity, fertility, pregnancy, entrepreneurship, artistic endeavors, good fortune, including lotteries. So we win money through gaming and gambling, speculation and risk-taking in the fifth house. We have good fortune there. It's possible that Venus is indicating a financial win of some sort as she crosses straight in on July 4th to your fifth house. Funny enough, that lottery I'm in is going to be drawn sometime in early July. On the other hand, if you're single, how about being lucky in love? Because Venus can bring you a romantic love story. Are you or your partner fertile and of childbearing age? Fertility is heightened here. And you may be surprised because as Venus enters here, Uranus will follow. We will get to that. Venus is in a trine to Pluto, the god of wealth, power, and riches, money, good fortune, and winning. So there's something good happening. Don't I want to oversell it? And this is general bell curve astrology, not your natal chart. I'll get comments like, I didn't win the lottery last month. Well, no, you think every single sign going to do that? Like all Aquariuses everywhere in the world can win the lottery? No, of course not. Your natal chart will let me know if I was you're my client, whether you could even ever win a lottery in this lifetime. It's in your chart. But some of you may win some money. Some of you may have a lucky financial break. Some of you may conceive a child or find out you're pregnant. Some of you may have a creative artistic project power up and go viral. Why go viral? Because Uranus is going to kick in next. So a viral hit, creative project, artistic endeavor, entrepreneurial success, all of that is here. The trine from the sextile from Venus to Saturn. If you're in the social media online world, that's what Saturn's doing with Neptune. Neptune rules videography platforms and even Instagram for the social media glamour photography. So you could have a nice little bump or pop in some entrepreneurial, creative, artistic endeavor in the online world that generates some wealth or some good fortune coming through the first 3 days or 4 days, 5 days. Well, really July 4th to the 8th, okay? Around that time. When you see this happening, Uranus connecting also with Venus on July the 7th. That's also a nice little pop. Now you get a little shock, a little surprise, a little, whoa, what the hell happened? I am pregnant. I am dating some important, powerful, outside the box person. I met someone new, or I'm having my win in a gambling, risk taking, speculative way. I'm winning something, and I'm shocked or surprised that it's happening. Again, those are ways to parse that story. I do not think that you will not like this transit. So there's just a sense of positive surprise in a mini grand trine that, Uranus is powering up. It's already there. He adds electricity to this story. He makes it more exciting, more exhilarating, more joyful. A breakthrough in a creative project could happen here. A breakthrough in the online social media, breakthrough in publishing, writing, communicating, marketing, and selling. So as we continue forward and we move into the next story, which we are going to do now, you're going to notice that we get into a moon, and it is full, and it is at 10 degrees of It is on July the 10th at 18 degrees of Capricorn. A full moon in Capricorn lands on your doorstep, taking cue from a new moon December 30th last year. It's your 12th house, which represents revenue and money through trade and barter, or foreign countries, foreign people, foreign places, distant shores. So there's kind of, in our modern world, that's very common because we have the internet. So, instead of the spice trade or seafaring trade, you're now going to find, Lori's going to move because she's got to change her position. Give me a minute. You could find yourself having success, fulfillment, completion in the part of your chart that represents that type of finance. Now, a full moon goes off a seed planted December 30th. And so into January, what kind of new plantings did you do there? However, it is a moksha, spiritual awakening, liberation house. It is a house to do with distant shores and people. It is a house to do with time alone, solitude, and things you do alone, especially if you're working on something behind the scenes. So now there is a fulfillment of things you planted here in the month of December 30th into January. It's ruled by Saturn, this full moon, which can bring fulfillment and completion. And Saturn is in the house of writing, communicating, marketing, selling, teaching, and learning. So I want you to think about where you might be fulfilling some of those things as well through projects and activities you're doing behind the scenes in your down and alone time. Probably for me, I'm looking at this moon on July 10th. That's probably me working on the back end of Sky Reader. That's all that would be, because I'm moving it to a new teaching platform at Thinkific. So that's literally, I'm just working on that project. I'm just giving examples, right? The moon will be at 18 degrees of Capricorn, flowing to the north node in the house of earnings. So it indicates success through things you do behind the scenes to fulfill a seed planted in January that allows for a fruitfulness in your success and fruitfulness in your finances. If you're trying to close out an addiction or self-undoing, and you haven't been able to do that, quit the Haagen-Dazs, quit the weed, quit the wine, whatever, this could really help fulfill, complete, and end that story. The North Node is in the house of what you ingest, what you put in your mouth, and you may be able to get a handle on those stories starting on July 10th. So everyone's talking about dry July. It looks very dry July, for example, but for whatever undoes you, whatever unravels you. Okay, so when we move into the next snare, and every full moon is a big bright light, right? It's bright in a very interesting house. We don't really see the 12th house very well. So watch your dreams at night, watch your meditations, look for insights that come, out of the blue, kind of from sort of reveries or daydreams. It's really going to open up some insights and understanding if that's something you need. And it's very spiritual. It can open up some spiritual awakening energies, some illuminations of spiritual truth as well in this chart, especially given the full moon is flowing to the South Node and Mars in a karmic and enlightenment moksha house. So this is good for spiritual awakening energies. July 10th, add about 2 to 3 weeks, and it unfolds over 6 months as well. On July the 11th, Saturn and Pluto form a tighter sextile, but it's not perfect through to the end of July. So on July 11th, 12th, a retrograde Saturn will begin newly retrograding and will make a very tight angle to Pluto that is normally considered positive. So structure, form, and discipline meet power, wealth, and regeneration. You are regenerating. You are powerful. You wish to be rich and wealthy. You're working with Pluto until 2044 in your sign. Don't forget, sun is career, moon is home, and ascendant is the avatar game playing character. But all of these you're all getting Pluto deputized. And Pluto is talking to Saturn in the third house. So you can really power up consistent discipline through deep, powerful forces beneath the surface of reality to write, to sell, to market, to communicate. Although it may also indicate transformative short distance learning, travel, or learning opportunities as well. And you may power up some wealth from social media activity through discipline, hard work, and dream making. Dreams come true, especially on videography platforms. And that's a vibe, June the 12th, through to really the end of July, okay? Because that's how long Saturn will still be mid-July to the end of August. That's how long Saturn will be in your third house. Sorry, it's warm in here. I need to open a window in a minute. Now, another story I have for you with Pluto in this part of your chart. Things that are hidden from your own view can be revealed through Saturnian third house people in the second half of July. That can be a sibling one younger. That can be a friend from your childhood. That can be someone older in the aunts, uncles, cousins, nieces, and nephews settings. Okay. So some deep revelations that are positive emerging at that time. Why not? Why not? July the 21st, July the 17th to the 25th, Venus is going to square Mars, and this is a difficult energy, but it's not that bad because Venus is still a benefic. My experience with this energy tends to lend itself towards need to make decisions, take actions in a rather significant or urgent way through Mars's action plan in your 8th house. Now, that can be your taxes, your investments, the money you share with a spouse, your alimony and spousal support stuff, inheritance monies, whatever. And Venus does rule the house of legacy wealth, but there may be some urgent need to work with money stories, maybe connected to children, maybe connected to romantic partnership, maybe connected to money, luck, and winnings as well. Remember, we talked about that earlier. Venus is definitely applying to Mars, but she's also bending the node of fate, the north node, for financial increase. Well, Mars is saying surrender, release, and let go of something as well. We'll get to that a bit later. I kind of feel, because you got Mars in your chunky money house, investments, other people's money, royalty income, Google ad revenue, chunks of money, commission checks, severance packages, sign-on bonuses. Mars is there for a dog's age, right? Enters June 17th, leaves August 6th. So there's a lot of focus there. But because of the South Node, we're looking at what we need to release and let go of, not what we're adding there. In a marriage or long-term love story, the 8th house is the shared resources, and there's like separating, dividing. So you may split, separate, divide shared resources with a significant long-term partner, especially with Mercury in that house, negotiating and making a deal about who gets what. If that's a story that makes sense to you, don't forget, leave the rest. I'm just saying. And because Venus is involved as a luck goddess and a good fortune house, you might be dividing the spoils of some good fortune that you and a significant other come into contact with, or even a business partnership, and splitting the proceeds in a kind of division way. Dividing is a Mars word, division. Jupiter's multiplication. Venus is addition. All right. So, but you think of, July 17th to August 25th of needing to take action on good fortune and money, for example, or on action with regarding money, romance, money, and children. Those are things that I see in this chart for you, and some unexpected exhilarations around that stuff. I suppose if a relationship's not going very well, it's not committed, but just romantic, dating, not really that big of a deal, there may be a breaking here, because Mars could say cut, sever, end, Venus in the house of romance, there could be that too as well. July 17th to the 25th. The eighth house is the most karmic house of the zodiac, and Mercury's in the house of long-term committed love, deals and negotiations, contracts and agreements. So look for significant contracts and agreements to do with financial matters headed your way July 17th to the 25th. And it may not be bad. It may just be urgent decisions and actions to enact those contracts, and, an entrepreneurial contract, a creative artistic contract, an agreement of some kind, negotiation, a deal. And you, with Athena, a lawyer like Athena, goddess of publications, books, law and legal matters. It could be even a book publishing contract. An agent wants to promote you or something like that. And you have to sign on some dotted lines and make some agreements in June 17th to the 25th. On July 22, the sun will move into the next sign. Now, when the sun moves forward into the sign of Leo, the spotlight is in your seventh house, and that's a house of significant long-term love. It's also legal contracts. It's also the house of people that are important to you. And the sun can mean the ingress of powerful authority figures in your life, being very important during this window of July 22nd to August 21st or so. However, there's a spotlight in the marriage house. Mercury is a negotiator, conversationalist, and deal maker, and he's retrograde. There's a possibility, because he started retrograding on the 17th, as soon as the 17th happens, at about 3 weeks, and now you add the sun on July 22nd, you might be hearing from people from your past, relationship people from your past, right? You might be hearing from an old spouse, an old significant other, coming from the dark ages of your past into the present. And phone calls, emails, conversations, and texts are highlighted here. In a broad sextile to Venus, there are positive reconnections with those people, and it has a lot of goodwill and good feelings to it as well. Doesn't mean the relationship's necessarily starting up again, just hearing from them, talking to them. And the sun is sending a spotlight in that area for you to pay attention to it. So, and also your significant other may be going through a lot of Sun Mercury, a marriage type partner through a lot of negotiations, conversations in their own life with a square to the contractual Juno. They may be working on a new work contract, business contract, opportunity in their career. And it might be more about your spouse than it is about you or your long-term love partner. When the sun enters into Leo, the sun immediately forms this energetic intensity when in opposition to Pluto, and also, though, a good trine to Saturn, Neptune, and to Uranus. So here's a few things to consider about something going on around July 22nd to the 25th. Exciting opportunities that are exhilarating regarding entrepreneurial and creative projects, or good news for your spouse regarding things to do with their good fortune in their life. Some significant, positive, lasting results in the online writing, communicating, teaching, and learning third house, flowing to your contractual opportunities and agreements. But the opposition to Pluto, which is going to get tangled up in a new moon shortly, that is going to bring power struggles between self and other. It could be anything. It could be just negotiating, like hard-ass negotiating a deal, negotiating a term, going back and forth, lawyerly strategic Athena in your court. So it may not be a hardship, but a lot of banter as you try to find something that both people agree with in this story, right? Coming to an agreement about something through tension of opposing agendas, and you're going to have to form an agreement. Because eventually that sun bumps into a new moon status, because guess what? We keep moving signs when I don't mean to move it. Don't even say anything. It's just Lori. Because eventually the moon catches up, and we have at 2 degrees of Leo on July 24th, a new moon attended by Mercury retrograde, opposing Pluto at exactly 2 degrees. And, there's a bit of a break of the tension because, Neptune, which is the illusion delusion, Saturn, what is real, are trying to mitigate or calm this thing down. So a new beginning and a fresh start in business partnerships, audience and marketplace relationships, customers in your public, and your significant long-term love relationship, with radical shifts from Uranus and stabilizing ingredients by Saturn. But Neptune can say, what the illusion or delusion was is being cleared. However, if you are like a social media person, a writer, a marketer, a seller, or a teacher, this is a new beginning that's going to expand your audience, your marketplace, your clients, and your customers. For Mercury is very good at publicity or communication or negotiation. And he happens to be a commercial success retrograde. So it's really connected to something from your past. So for Sky Reader 6.0, it's not brand new. I've taught this class before, from the house of teaching to the house of my audience. This is indicating a new beginning. I'm changing the course platform. I'm giving you an example. I'm changing the course content a bit more. So I always refine it. So it's just more of the same, but something that's really positive here, right? That's all. I might be recording new content, for stuff in the course, pre-recorded content as well as the live class. Now, opposition from Pluto, you have a lot of strength here. You are Pluto, right? You're not suffering fools gladly. So don't worry about this, whatever this is, this negotiating energy that the new moon kicks off. You've got it for 6 months. The new beginning, new moon of July 24th unfolds in the 2 to 3 weeks after, or the month after, but also in the 6 months that follows. Powerful audience synergy, powerful new beginnings in how you approach clients, powerful new beginnings in your significant long-term romantic love stories. On we go. Teaching, writing, marketing, selling matters with the third house complicit. Certainly, some of you could also change your home connected to a long-term relationship, or begin traveling more extensively in connection to a relationship, because maybe there's separation geographically, and it could indicate lots of back and forth travel connected to long-term committed love in the 6 months that follows this new beginning, new moon energy. That again is going to unravel over the course of weeks and months, not days. And this starts on July the 24th. Now, one thing about Mercury is that every 7 years, he comes into a long stay in Leo, and it also engages with the heart of the sun. And we're in one of those years. It happened in July, August of 2017, July, August of 2018. It happened last summer in 2024. And here we are again, not to be seen for another 7 years or so, is this long stay of Mercury in the fire sign of Leo, and then retrograding into the sun's heart. Now, that's like divine headquarters mission instructions for Mercury. And I love it because he comes right into the sun for you and me, and the house of the audience, the marketplace, and it does it at 9 degrees on July 31st. And so what is there to say other than a fresh start and a new beginning in how you approach long-term committed love, but from divine downloads? It's like he's getting some information for you, or for matters to do with how you approach your audience or your clients or your public. Now, because it's coming from the house of other, and Mercury's a messenger, from the mouth, email, phone call, or text from someone else, you're getting some important information on July 31st. Right? It's that simple. And you're not the one, or your partner in long-term love is getting a bit important information coming into their life as well. So pay attention. It's very magical. It's a good day to launch something into your public, into your audience, into your marketplace. So July 31st, maybe I'll launch the doors open for Sky Reader and harness this Cazimi in my 7th house, ruled by a sun in domicile. You can also notice that as this is happening, as this Cazimi is occurring, it does manage to come into a relatively intense square energy to the Vestal flame with a moon in your 10th house. There may be some major information coming regarding career matters, contracts and agreements, emails and phone calls. Juno is a marriage goddess. So again, we're back to what important information is being dispensed by your significant long-term love partner. Pay attention to that as well. And it may be not easy information sometimes too, because it squares Juno in the 10th house of marriage, weddings and stuff. So there could be some intensity around what is communicated around July 31st in those longer term love stories. Use it for, launching something into a sphere of the public, or initiating an important conversation with a significant other. Those are ways to use that energy as an Aquarius. Alrighty. Either which way, you're definitely getting some information or news getting lobbed at you from someone else during that time. And it's important information. It's not incidental. Mercury rules your fifth house of creative, artistic things and good fortune. And maybe it's really good fortune news, really. So, I mean, he does rule your house of chunky money. And that could also be information about, taxes, your accountant calls you, that kind of stuff, inheritance monies. And on we go. Venus moves into on the 31st. She moves into, is it she there the day before? No, on the 31st, Venus moves into Cancer with lucky Jupiter. Really good for your health, really good for new pets, rental property agreements, really good for work setting stuff, flowing to this beautiful 10th house, new contracts, agreements around work, super luck. But it's not just on the day of the 31st. That will run out through to the third week of August. We'll be covering that in a lot more detail when we get to that part of the story. Now, with Mercury in your seventh house, right, retrograding from the 17th of July, add 3 weeks, then you're looking for lots of information or communication or hearing back from people from your past that were important to you, most specifically long-term marriage type partnership people or committed love people. Those longer relationship, past relationship people should be in touch with you, and you might be surprised or shocked because of Uranus. So I can't believe I heard from, my high school boyfriend. Wow, So look for we were together for 3 years. Look for some of those kind of surprising stories coming out. You might be able to go back to last July, August. Maybe you heard from some of the exes back then as well. So that's in play for you in the July 17th to the end of the month for sure. Thank you, fellow Aquarians, for listening. Don't forget, liking and subscribing helps the channel grow. I would appreciate it. Love to have you here. You want to get your 2025 all signs bundle or individual readings for each sign, $22 for your individual reading, $33 for all 12 signs, 12 hours 24 hours of video content or 2 hours per video with a PDF written guidebook by me for you. All of that is available half price. Why? We have 6 months left in the year. I cut the price in half. So you can get that online down below in my description box. There are links to how to purchase that. And if you want to hear me unplugged over, I write articles. Sometimes I do audio podcasts over at Substack. That's just where I let it all loose. And I don't have to worry about being demonetized as I share my bias about the world along with the astrology that supports it. And I also talk about politics and stuff. I also have I have 4 Zoom meetings a month on my Patreon community where you get everything early access ad free. Check it out below. You want to have content that's on YouTube without the ads, get it before the public, and also maybe engage in learning classes with me over there that aren't public. Those 4 meetings a month, including a Q&A, are available if you join me on Patreon. I feel like I'm an auctioneer of promotion. Thanks for your patience. Take care. Have an amazing July, fellow Aquariuses.